Hello, welcome along. It's a brand new Chairboys live match day. My name's Dan Simpson. It is Saturday, the 28th of November. Almost got my days wrong. Preparation gone out the window already. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for watching wherever you are around the planet. A warm welcome to the worldwide Wycombe phenomenon. Of course, if you're a fan or indeed an owner of the club and you're over in the States, happy Thanksgiving weekend. Fingers crossed, let's celebrate it with 3 points. The Blues, the Chairboys, they head up to the Pride Park Stadium today, taking on Derby County, who sit rock bottom of the Championship. It's going to be an interesting game. Both sides haven't scored a goal in their last 3 games. Who knows what to expect? It's been such a strange topsy-turvy up and down season. We will bring you all of the build-up for the next half an hour before kick-off, before we get underway at 3 o'clock. Now, 2020 has been strange. Very strange for many reasons. Who would have thought, though, this time last year, that Wycombe would be taking on a team managed by Wayne Rooney in the Championship, the all-time England and Man United record goal scorer. He takes charge of the Rams today. It's Wycombe versus Derby County at the Pride Park Stadium. We will keep you busy. Let's head there now, shall we? And catch up with Matt Cecil, who is at the ground. Hello, Matt.
Afternoon, Dan. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. Nice and nippy up there, isn't it?
It's cold. It's cold. It's grey. We are the furthest football stadium from the sea, I believe. That was a little bit of trivia that came out in the car on the drive up. So fantastic venue. A venue that should be hosting Premier League football. Really, the Rams have come so close on so many occasions, haven't they, in recent years, to getting back to the promised land. Just falling short in the playoffs under Frank Lampard. And they would have been fancied again to be up there this season. But crazy to think Wycombe come here above Derby County in the table. And who knows if this is a good time to be playing them. I'll let you know at 5 o'clock. A lot of disgruntlement around the place, I think, and from the fan base. And even when they've released their team news just a few moments ago, the notifications are full of angry Derby fans not happy with how things are going. So Wycombe have just got to take advantage today. If I can, I'll give you just a little. This is where we are at the stadium. You'll see the. What a setting it is really for Wycombe Wanderers to be playing, but the boys won't be overawed by it. They can't be. We've been to the City Ground already. We've been to Ewood Park. We've played some fantastic venues with many more to come. And when the whistle goes at 3 o'clock, the boys are out here to do business.
Now, take us through the team, because it looks like quite a different side from the teams that we've lined up with this season. Looks quite small, looks quite nippy. Notably, for points this season, we've really relied on starting Bayo. We've not got a point in a game where he has not played. So interested to see how we look. Can you run us through it?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine, really, when you're looking at the personnel, because it could mean a lot of different things. Our best guess would be kind of a 4-2-3-1. Thompson and Adeniran. A real shame that Dominic Gape, having just got back into the team after injury, he injured his shoulder on Tuesday night, as most people saw. He came off and is unable to have made the trip, so he's out. So it looks like Thompson and Adeniran might just kind of man the fort in front of the back four. But then, wow, what a front four that leaves. Horgan, Mehmeti and McCleary, I think, will be a kind of a 3. With Kashkit just being that one up top, just to be a pest, just to chase down the keeper, just to get amongst Derby's back four if they try and play it out from the back. But that can be interchangeable, as we know. It could easily be a 4-4-2 with McCleary and probably Horgan out wide, and that could leave Mehmeti playing just off Kashkit up front, which would be quite an exciting proposition. So, you can see the team beneath you. Some fantastic experience on the bench as well. Stockdale back from injury, Bloomfield back from injury, and as you've mentioned, Akinfenwa, who's played 180 minutes against Brentford and then Huddersfield in the week. So, he's an option, but as is Wheeler, Patterson, Onyedinma, Freeman, Samuel, McCarthy. 9 subs these days, giving the manager a lot of options.
Now, before we hear from the Derby side of things, get a word from their camp, see how they've been doing this season. Just a quick word about Curtis Thompson, really, because I'm sure every Wycombe fan has seen what a leap he has made. I remember speaking to him at the Players' Awards dinner a couple of years ago, and I mentioned on stage, he must be happy because his old club, Notts County, I think on that day got relegated to the conference, and look at us now, up in the Championship. He has come on leaps and bounds this season, hasn't he?
Well, he's doing so well that Wayne Rooney's opted not to take that battle today, and he's named himself out of the starting line, out of the squad altogether. Yeah, what a player. An absolute Rolls Royce of a midfielder. Crazy to think that we signed him in a promotion battle with Notts County, and they deemed him surplus to requirements for them. and he came to us. Didn't do too much in that promotion year. I think he played 7 games and, found it hard to break past Gape, 09, Saunders, Bloomfield at the time. But, I mean, wow, what an impact he made the following season, last year. And I think he missed the first 3 games of this season with an injury, but having come back in, he's absolutely run the show on some occasions. And, it's another example of a player that's been written off by another club and not wanted by another manager, who has found a happy home here in Wycombe. Curtis, he's still got a young family in Nottingham. It was a big move for him to make, coming down to Wycombe and restart his career and put his faith in the manager, really, to resurrect his career. But Curtis Thompson is a championship footballer, and he looks every inch a championship player with his performances so far.
That's what Ainsworth really has done across his time at the club, and harking to a Derby legend. He's got the thing that Brian Clough and Peter Taylor used to have, where they would find these forgotten gems almost and really work them into the side. Well, let's see what's happening on the Derby side of things. Let's introduce Ben, who, if we're being technical, yes, he is from Wycombe. He works in our ticket office. He does all of that kind of things, but he's a Derby fan. He knows a lot more about the club than both Matt, both I do, a lot more about the Rams. So, Ben, do you mind taking us through what's happening for Derby today?
Absolutely, yeah. This is a place I know very well. So 7 changes since the 3-0 loss to Middlesbrough on Wednesday night. Am I still here?
Yes, you're still here, yeah.
It sounded like I went. So 7 changes since the 3-0 loss to Middlesbrough. So it's quite hard to try and depict what formation they're playing. Martin Waghorn has been Derby's kind of striking threat or limited strike threat most of this year. He's been benched today for Colin Kazim-Richards, who joined as a free agent in October. It looks like Derby have gone for an experienced side. They've brought Curtis Davis back in and Craig Forsyth, who've been at the club for many years. Derby this year have gone for a lot of youth, generally. A lot of the academy players have come in. So on the bench today is Lever Cannon, Jack Stretton, Max Bird and Jason Knight. Jason Knight actually played with Daryl Horgan in the recent internationals against Bulgaria. Dwayne Holmes comes back in, George Evans. Matt Clark is on loan from Brighton, who is very highly thought of. So, should be interesting. It's quite a surprise to see that many changes from Derby, to be honest.
Well, I mean, it's been a surprising, strange season for Derby. If you think they finished 10th last year, seemed to be playing pretty well under Philippe Cocu. Some nice Cocu ball, they were calling it at the time. To put it bluntly, Ben, where's it all gone wrong?
Well, $1 million question, isn't it? It's difficult. I think Cocu did try and implement his own style of football. I think initially it was well received. Whether the players seemed to take to it as well, I don't know. Certainly, the introduction of youth went down very well with fans. And this year, they simply looked to lack goals. They really seem to miss Chris Martin, who left at the end of last season. He was very good at holding the ball up and bringing other people into play. He's left to go to Bristol City, which seems to have left a bit of a gap up front. As we can see, I think they've only scored 6 goals this season. So I think that's been a big problem is the striking front, really, for Derby County this year.
Now, we've seen you as a Derby County fan. I need you to quickly pop your Chairboys hat on, if that's okay, because the huge news this season...
I can do that.
There you go. Just boring technical stuff. I'm going to have to do some wizardry unmuting because you're echoing across Matt's stream, but that's by the by. I'm going to play around with that. Big news that we've heard this week. Looks like we might actually be able to let fans in. We've been pushing for it hard for a while. They're talking about Stoke as a pilot game for us. Ben, you're the man with the tickets. What's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking towards Stoke. Our plans are with the SAG at the moment, who are looking to approve that. We'll know more on Monday, and we certainly look to get information out to season ticket holders then. This will be for 1,000 people, and then obviously potentially for the Coventry game, which is the game after, we'll be looking at 2,000 as we're in tier 2. For a lot of months now, we've been putting a lot of work in, mapping everyone into those seats, getting everything right, keeping everything safe and social distance. So really, we've put all the hard work in. Really proud of everybody that's been involved with it, and we've just fingers crossed now that it gets approved and we can get everyone back.
Just tell us a bit more very quickly about what those 1,000 might look like when we're in the stadium. Will we be spread out across the Frank Adams stand, do you think? I know that the terrace might not be going for a game or so because of that. How will that look, Ben?
Yep, exactly. So at the moment, our plans are not to use the terrace for the first game with 1,000. We are trying to spread everyone out as much across the stadium as possible. So it won't just be the Frank Adams. It'll be all the other 3 sides of the stadium. Just for a general, ease of getting everyone in and to understand our systems, we will be socially distanced if our plans are approved. So there'll be no family bubbles on whenever it is the Wednesday night. We just really want to test our systems of access and getting everyone into Adams Park and ensure once we get the pilot event out of the way and we can get 3 points, then we'll be looking towards Coventry with bubbles.
So it's going to be nice and spaced out, a bit like a cold Tuesday game in the Johnson's Paint Trophy. Then we'll have a lot of room around us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me very quickly, I'm going to stick you on mute, Ben. I'm just going to bring back Cess. So Cess, it looks like maybe good news for us in that regard. Have you got anything more to add? Because obviously you're the pull a lot of strings in the background of the club. Anything more to add on that, Matt?
To be honest, all I'd say is Ben touched on it, the hard work that's gone into it, and particularly on Ben's side, there is a document that, oh my God, it would bore you to death to read. I got to the contents page and pretty much wanted to turn it away, but so much detail and so much planning has gone in because the number one thing is safety, health and safety for everyone that attends the stadium, and also inspiring confidence in those that are coming that the place is going to be safe. We know we've got some senior supporters, those with health issues who may feel nervous about coming to watch a football game, which is just wrong, and it's nobody's fault. It's this virus that has caused people to not be able to leave their homes. And so the practices that have been put into place, we're so confident in, and that is because of the hard work that's gone into it for months. Like, we've been ready for this moment for months, and now it's about to arrive. So the 1,000 that come on Wednesday, like, wow, what a special occasion. The overriding message, and not to be the fun police, but is, play by the rules, please. And we will let you know what those kind of rules and guidelines are, because we want everyone to feel comfortable and safe. We want to be able to get the approval from the SAG to then be able to go to 2,000 fans in the following game. So it won't feel like a normal game. It won't be your dream first experience of a championship fixture at Adams Park. Yes, there'll be masks. Yes, there'll be distancing. No, there can't be exuberant celebrations and limbs on the pitch if we score goals. Those days are behind us and hopefully ahead of us. We're not limbs on the pitch. That's always banned. But you know what I'm saying. It will be a different experience. But a special night and one that people will remember when they're there. So the message will be, help us pass the test really on Wednesday night, because we want as many fans in as possible after that. But yeah, a massive well done to, I don't want to miss anyone out, but to Gordon, to Steve, to Richard on the safety side, to Ben, Harry and the ticket office dealing with so many different phone calls, Neil, everyone involved in getting the place shipshape. And the place looks brilliant. When you get in, you're going to see a different Adams Park. I know we've shown glimpses of it online, the new dugouts, the floodlights, etc. But being there, as you know, Dan, is a different experience. And it's going to be amazing to finally have fans inside Adams Park for a championship game.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. It's been a brilliant update. I'll leave you two to get on to go and do important media stuff up in Pride Park Stadium. Thank you so much for joining us, you two.
Take care.
Oh, I've removed you. There we go. Stuck you back on. Oh, there you go. Sorry, Seth. Right, there we go. So that's what you heard. Monday is when we're waiting to find out. Make sure you follow us. I'm sure you are. Make sure you follow us across Twitter, across Instagram, across Facebook, and keep your eye on wwfc.com. And we'll let you know exactly when we know. Now, in just a second, we're going to speak to someone who is both a fan of Wycombe and Derby. I don't understand it either. I really don't get it. I don't agree with it, but he's going to try and defend himself to us. But very quickly, I thought I'd show you something. When we do these Chairboys live match days, I always scan through years gone by, what's happened on a similar weekend in the past, just so we can remember other bits of history when fans were actually allowed in the club. Now, I don't suppose you remember what happened more or less this time last year. Wycombe took on Doncaster. We were at home. It was the 23rd of November. And for me, it stands out for two moments, one predictable and then an utter surprise. You had the predictability and the reliability of Joe Jacobson scoring a last-minute penalty. And then you also had the utter surprise of a referee actually giving a foul for Bayo in the box. Absolutely remarkable. Fantastic penalty. And who'd have thought a referee would actually give a penalty for Bayo in the box? Right, we're going to chat to someone, and I want you to bear with him. Please bear with him, because I don't get it. I'm sure you don't get it, but he is a fan of both Wycombe and Derby. And as soon as I heard, I thought we've got to get him on. Adam Cadle, welcome to Chairboys Live Matchday.
Hi, Dan. How you doing?
I'm very well. How are you feeling? I mean, it must be mate, must be quite painful on the old tush sitting both sides of the fence like this.
Yeah, very true. Strong divided loyalties going on here, and it stems back quite a long way, to be honest. So I'll take a draw today, but the Rams are in big trouble, so we might need the 3 points.
Well, so you say it stems from a long time ago. Take us back. Why 2 clubs? How did this all begin for you?
Yeah, so I grew up in a big Wycombe Wanderers household. My dad was head steward at Wycombe Wanderers, Graham Cadle. And to mix it up a bit in the household, I thought, shall we keep on the Wycombe theme here, or, shall I change it up a bit? So as a 7-year-old, I was watching Match of the Day one evening on a Saturday night, and it was the Francesco Baiano, Wanchop, Mark Poom era. I mean, what's not to love about that team? And I literally fell in love. And from that moment, I spent time up in Derby watching the Rams. And then obviously living in Wycombe until recently, I had season tickets and obviously know Matt Cecil very well from school as well. So that is kind of how it worked out.
Well, if I'm gonna push you, give me a percentage. Is it 50-50 straight down the line? Is it 80-20 towards Wycombe? If it's anything like this, like less than that, I'm gonna kick you off.
I've got to say it's 60-40 Rams, but but
I can't control the YouTube comments. I can't control what people are going to say about you now.
But if Bayo steps up and gets a 93rd minute booming header, I can only applaud that. I love that guy, so absolutely.
and I guess back then, when the Mark Poom era, as you were saying, of Derby, and Wycombe were nowhere near that level at the time, I can't imagine you ever foresaw a position where Wycombe would be playing Derby, not just that, but also above them in the table.
Absolutely not. I mean, there's been FA Cup draws through the years where in the past, Wycombe have played Plymouth and needed to beat Plymouth in the FA Cup and lost, and the next round would have been against Derby. And sort of me and Dad were at home going, is this the year? Is this the year? But it never quite materialised. And now, for the first time ever, the 2 sides meet, and it should be a great contest. One, I think, which will be won in the middle of the park.
I'm going to say, a nice sitting on the fence reason from someone sitting on the fence. Now, you mentioned your dad, who was sadly no longer with us, and he was a legend as a club steward. If club stewards can be legend, but he managed it. No, he did manage it. Just take us through kind of his relationship with Wycombe as you can, because he was someone that actually properly loved the club, didn't none of this 40% stuff like you.
No, he was 100% through and through, but it was just a taxi driver to Derby every now and again for me. But he was back in watching them at Lokes Park, everything like that, and that was his Saturday afternoon sort of leisure activity. He loved chatting to the players. You could spot his grey hair from a mile away walking up and down on the touchline, and he loved when Gaz Ainsworth came in. He kept coming home every Saturday saying, "We'll be a championship side eventually. It's not long." And lo and behold, it's happened. And what a fairy tale that is.
So even when that was happening, you thought, "No, I'm still going to be 40%. I still want to watch Paul Jules Derby."
Yeah, I'm a stubborn guy.
Well,
Paul George Derby was not a good watch, believe me.
No, please, I know. So we spoke to Ben from our club earlier on, who's a Derby fan, but you've been there, you've been watching it pretty avidly as your 60%er. So I'm gonna calm down with that in just a sec. Just take us through where you think the state of Derby's season. I don't want to be so negative because we're not that much above them in the table, but where has it gone wrong, and how much are you expecting from Wayne Rooney in charge?
Wow, what a question. I had high hopes for Koku, and I believe he was a cracking guy. When Koku ball worked, it really did work. We wiped Stoke off the park last season. We had a massive win against Sheffield Wednesday away. And when football restarted over after the original lockdown period, we were surging, and we had the second best form in the Championship at the time. Wayne Rooney was a massive part of that. And the football we were playing was just fantastic. I think there was an overcomplication of tactics going on. I mean, we've played literally every tactic under the sun this season already. And towards the end of last season, from your 3-4-3s to your 4-2-3-1s, to 4-5-1. I mean, it was alluded to earlier. We've struggled in the striking department. We've barely scored this season. So, turning to Kazim Richards today is a really, really interesting move from Rooney there, and he's obviously gone for experience. I think, as I said before, the battle is going to be won today in the middle of the park. I'm a massive Curtis Thompson fan. I mean, how that guy was, let go by Notts County is...
Correct answer, yes, I know.
How he was let go by Notts County, it is anyone's question. So it's going to be interesting. The likes of Curtis Thompson battling against the likes of Graham Shinney. Bit worried about Scotty Cashgett up front with his pace. Against the likes of Curtis Davis there, but we'll see. I'm a bit nervous, but may the best team win.
Yeah, Cashgett's been an absolute terrier this season, as always. But again, like Thompson, really has come on leaps and bounds in the last few months. Listen, last question. Neither team has scored in the last 3 games. You're there straddling one foot in both sides of the camps. You can't say a 0-0 draw, all right? That's out of the question. What is the score going to be?
I reckon it's going to be 1-1.
Adam Cadle, thank you so much for joining us on Chairboys Live Match Day. Cheers, pal.
Cheers, Dan. Take care.
Bye-bye. Right, 20 minutes till kickoff, and then the action finally starts. You might have seen something very interesting this week on Wycombe socials. The gaffer's been at it again. Last year, you will remember the Wanderer taking over. You just can't keep him away from the guitar, from the microphone. He is a rock star, heart of a rock star, but the shoes of a football manager. So we're going to check in with Ian Wills. Ian Wills is from Wills and the Willing. Gareth Ainsworth has lent his voice to the brand new single, Drawing Straws, which is all about the time in lockdown. Ian, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Dan. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm very, very well, thank you. Well, listen, so the new single, it's out on SoundCloud now. I know it's going to be on full release soon. Yeah, we've been pushing it on our social page for the last few days. It's always nice to hear Gareth Ainsworth. Tell us how it came about.
Well, I've known Gareth for about 16, 17 years. And I first saw Gareth, I've been playing a football pitch. I actually first saw Gareth play a gig at the Red Lion in Brentford. And we had a mutual friend. He said, come see Gareth do a gig. So I came and saw Gareth. And then Gareth came and saw me. I played a festival in 2008, and Gareth came and saw me at Guildfest, and we have a love and passion for music, obviously, right? And and football. I think that's a fair. And over the years, we things you miss each other, and I sort of put my new album came out in October, and we talked about an idea maybe during COVID, maybe we could try and do something together or whatever, and I wrote Drawing Straws, and it just seemed the most natural thing to say, would you like to come join us on this track? And Gareth was, as you say, he's your manager, but he's a rock star in the heart, and he just instantly said, without any issues whatsoever, said, let's do it. He did like the song, which did help. I think if the song wasn't very good, he wouldn't have been on it, I'll be honest with you.
Now, be honest further with us. What was the gaffer like in the studio behind the mic? Was he as meticulous, as passionate as we see him on the touchline sometimes?
Absolutely the same. I always believe that when it's you, right? So it doesn't matter if you're in Sainsbury's getting your shopping or you're on the touchline, you're behind the mic. What's you is you. And he was, I have to say that he did it. He was well produced, and he certainly did his parts in a lot less takes than I did mine. So that's a pretty good thing.
Well, Ian, so the song is all about what's been happening this year, many references to lockdown and Zoom calls and clapping for the NHS and all of that stuff. Such an open-ended question. But how did you write it? Take us through that, Ian.
I sat down with a piece of paper and I thought about the year, and the first thing was in my head was, well, hang on, there's only 6. We're only allowed bubbles of 6. Well, it shouldn't be no different for Santa, right? So, and then I sort of thought back, well, there's 8 reindeers plus there's Santa, that makes it 9. Well, what's going to happen at Christmas? Like in football, right? Only so many are going to make the cut to the rest are on the subs bench, and that's where the idea came from. And then I thought about Marcus Rashford. And and so like, you've listened to the songs, I in all my lyrics I've ever written, I never state the obvious. So those who want to look at it and think and read it and sort of, well, who's the boy from Wythenshawe? And it just flowed. I'll be honest with you, I wrote the lyrics in about 10 minutes.
As all good things happen, we're always hearing all the works of genius in history have always come out in 10 minutes on flat normally.
It is, and then I sort of and then I sort of looked at the chorus rather than the verses, and I had this hook in my head, and the rest just came freely. And of course, you work with very talented musicians who then, and Nick who produced this track actually produced all the vocals on London Country. So we'd worked together for like 2 years. And and he doesn't really like deadlines, Nick, in the sense of like, we made it happen. And actually from being in the studio Saturday week ago, so 2 weeks today, we started recording, and 10 days later, it's being played on radio.
Fantastic turnaround on that. It's not just our gaffer on it, is it? It's you've got Petr Cech on drums.
Yeah. Well, Petr joined the Will in earlier this year. And he's on London Country, and we was meant to actually play Glastonbury. That was going to be the sort of the gig that sort of everybody saw Petr behind the kit, but obviously things turned out the way they are. So again on this track here, we've got Petr in the drums. He came in and put it down in a couple of hours. This and another track that I wanted to sort of do before we release the next single off the album. And then it just flowed, and Gareth came down, did his part, and we spent then 3 days getting it finished and got it mastered and in the bag Wednesday night.
Amazing. Well, we've got a link to it on our socials. If you've not heard Drawing Straws yet from Wills and the Willing, featuring our very own Gareth Ainsworth, make sure you go and look it up. Search Wycombe Wanderers on Twitter. It's on Facebook. It's on all of there. Go and have a listen. It is brilliant. Ian, thank you so much for joining us on Chairboys Live.
Good luck today.
Yeah, thank you very much, pal. Well, that is it for this week's Chairboys Live. What a moment. Wycombe take on Wayne Rooney's derby. It's Gaza versus Wazza. Thank you. 15 minutes till kick-off. If you've not got your iFollow pass, make sure you grab it online now. And keep your eyes peeled across all of our socials. Monday, that is when, fingers crossed, we will hear exactly what can happen at Adams Park against Stoke. Fingers crossed, I'll see you there. And fingers crossed, we get a big 3 points today. Thank you so much for watching. Come on, the Chairboys.